bet that's better probably, isn't it? Hang on, let me get this microphone situated. Is that better? Can you hear me? Hope you can hear me. As you can probably tell, I don't do these all the time. I'm over here, I'm going to say that is Jeff. So what I was trying to say before I had the microphone hooked up, I'm not going to do a lot of commentary. I've already strung a few rackets tonight because I didn't want to be doing this until midnight. So I've already got some strung stuck in the bag over there. So originally, I thought I might have more tonight. I've only got 7 left, 7, 8 with this one left. Our girls team were originally supposed to have 5 matches this week. And so I figured I'd have, which I do have some of theirs, but I figured I'd have some from one of the visiting teams tonight, but they canceled because of weather. So it's only the guys and the girls and the guys. I got to get them done and back because they're leaving to head to Tennessee. And in my little title, I put down that I was going to have a little giveaway. So I've got a box of stuff that I've kind of gathered up that I'm going to give away. I'm going to have some instructions later. I would give the instructions right now, but then people that sign on, they would read the instructions in the first couple of minutes, and they would quit watching my video. So I'm going to wait, make them actually watch a little bit of it. Dang it. I missed it. In case anybody is wondering, I am wearing the Crocs and I am wearing the compression socks. But I figure I'm going to be here a couple of 2-3 hours. Plus, it's the first time I've ever scheduled live. I'm kind of curious how all that works. Because my goal, my ultimate goal, I don't know if it'll happen, but my goal is during the pro tournament this year to maybe have a live during the day to just kind of see how the tournament goes. Let y'all watch the dance, all that good stuff. And my ultimate goal would be to like schedule maybe a couple of coaches or players or something that can come in and take questions and stuff like that. But I don't know if that'll happen or not. I'm going to try, but I don't know. Okay, hang on. Let's see who's on here. There's an echo in the audio. Looking forward to watching tech version. Ooh. So Jeff says the volume or the sound is good for him. Okay. I know I was on, do any of y'all ever will go to Racket Stringing Tips and watch his channel? I know I was on his a couple of weeks ago and one of the guys in there had an echo, but the rest of us didn't. And the stuff I'm giving away, it might be stuff that nobody even wants. I just don't know. But you know what? It's free. Kind of like going to a hotel that feeds you dinner. It always tastes free. Free good. I'm also in the market for another machine Nothing wrong with these. I may have already talked about this at some point in time. I just want another machine I can go ahead and leave at the university because with gas prices, days that I go over there and I only pick up like 1 or 2 rackets, I'm spending more money in gas going over there, picking up a racket, bringing it home, stringing it, and taking it back over there than what I make in actual stringing the racket. So I used to keep one over there. That's where I used to keep Gamma Progression. That's where I used to always keep that at. And I sold it. Now I kind of want another one over there. Plus, almost every year, or I guess every year, during their matches, I always have at least somebody want to know if I can do an on-court racket for them real fast. I've always done it, but I tell them, yeah, it's going to take me about 45 to 50 minutes because I had to drive home, string the racket, and drive it back. When I finish this racket, I'll show y'all what I'm going to give away. Then I will give you the instructions later. I'll also go read comments after I finish this one. And I will tell y'all, I'm not promoting getting fat. But one of the benefits of being fat is when the racket's turning, I can just put my belly on it. In these videos, I really do look fat. I'm fat in real life, but I don't think I'm as fat as I look like on the camera. I like all I hunch over a lot doing this. I could probably raise the machine up a little bit. It's the height that I've always done it at. So while we're streaming, some things we can talk about. If anybody wants to, I don't know. I don't even know how to show it. I don't think I can show it. So like ideas that I've had in life. But my database, all I use as a database to track people is an Excel worksheet. And it has a bunch of different sheets to it. The first page of my database is all, or the first tab. It's all like my string, rackets, players, their addresses, phone numbers, all the information I have on them, different strings and all that good stuff. And then like all the players have their own individual tab. And I set up a bunch of drop downs. And obviously you only do a drop down on one page, and then you just copy that page. That way you're not having to create drop downs on every single page, every single tab. But then I have drop downs on all the tabs that I can just drop down the player's name. Then I fill in the date, and I can drop down their racket. And let's see, I have a restringing date, or the date that I strung it, not the restringing, but the date that I string it. And then I have the main string tension, cross string and tension. Then I have a spot for notes, and that's really all I've ever found I've needed. I know there's some databases out there you can get all kind of crazy data and everything, but any of that crazy data, you can just type it into the notes. And so I have multiple databases. So I have a database just for like all my local players. I have a database just for the university. And it's got, back to what I was saying. So first tab is all the stuff, all the information that I can use for drop downs. The second page is an actual receipt. And again, it has drop downs and stuff. And it also has my Venmo. So if they can just scan it with their phone and pay me with Venmo. It's got my name, my address, phone number, my Venmo. It says receipt on it. And then down at the bottom, I can drop down and put the customer's name in it. I know, I get distracted. I can put the customer's name in it, and it'll auto-fill their address and phone numbers and all that kind of stuff for the university that automatically fill. So let me finish a thought. So I have that, and I have my and I drop down what string and labor charges and all like that. It does all that calculations for me, so I don't have to. So that's page 2. Then after that, page 3. Yeah, I think that's all I've got. Then it turned into all the player data. So that's one of my databases. And I have one for just my local players. I have one for the universities. So back to my other thought. At the beginning of every season, I go online, I pull up the schedules for the men's and the women's teams. And I will go look up all the colleges that they are going to play. And I pull them up, and I get the coaches' names, their emails, their phone numbers, whatever info I can get, their addresses, all that kind of stuff. And I put it into that database, or just update it. Some of them have never changed. Some of them change every year. So I do that. And then I have a receipt that's just for them on that database. And then I have a database that's just for the pro tournament. And all of those databases I have linked to a label maker, a Dymo. I use a Dymo Label Rider 450 Twin Turbo. The Twin Turbo has 2 different, I like the Twin Turbo because it will hold 2 labels. And I don't have to change them out. So I have one roll that are the little labels that go in the throat of the racket. And I have one that I put on the bags that I put the rackets in. And those are my databases. And I have some macros on the one that I use for all my local players so that I can hit a little button and it will save a copy of that receipt into on my desktop information, and it'll roll the date. Well, no, I have a macro, I have a formula that just keeps the date, whatever the current date is. Okay, let me bag this. I could probably save a lot of time if I just didn't bag these tonight, and I could do it after I get the video. I'll bag this, and I'll do that with the rest of them. I'll just put them back in the rack. I doubt y'all want to watch me bag rackets all night long. He's got a girl side and a guy side. Girl side, guy side. Okay, so let me set him. Okay, let's read some comments. Let's see who else here, what's going on. Let's see, I got Jeff and Alex. Sound is fine on your phone. That's a good deal. Watching on the phone. There is an echo. Okay, yep, no echo when watching on the phone. On Google Chrome on laptop though. Still, thanks, guys. Yeah, you're welcome. Greetings from London. Hey, I know a bunch of your English players. You struggle with because I'm a hick. I'm born and bred right here in Texas, so I have a pretty heavy Texas accent. Okay, so here's what we said. I'll show y'all kind of what we're going to give away. I'll give you instructions later, but here's what we're going to. And again, this might be stuff y'all don't even want. I'm going to give you 2 head stencils. one the old stencil, one the new stencil. I'm going to give you 2 print stencils, one with the little arrow, one without the little arrow. I'm going to give you 2 Wilson stencils. I got one is the smaller stencil, one is the larger stencil. I'm going to give you, I'd hate to give you stencils without giving you stencil ink. So you're going to get a black and white stencil ink. They're brand new. This one got tore open, but it is brand new, taped it shut. But anyway, I'll to you. This, just because it's here, it's a strap for a racquetball racket. I'm going to give you 1 heat shrink sleeve. That way, if you've never done it, you can have a heat shrink sleeve to practice with. I'm going to give you 1 set of Head FXP Tour, because I do not sell that. I have it. And I'm going to give you a Diadem Pro X 17. This one is a 16 gauge, that's 17 gauge. Plus, I am going to give you 100 bags, racket bags. Bags alone, that's that. Anyway, so that's what's in my giveaway box. Make sure, I'm gonna throw my cutters in there. So from London, let's see, greetings from London. So, as English players, guys, I really don't know, but what's his name? Played for TCU. Anyway, strung his racket. But we know Naomi Brody. I'm sure you know her. We know her. She stayed here at the house one time during pro tournament. Harriet Dart, she's super nice. Still stay in touch with her. Katie Swan, her and her mom stayed here with us one time. Katie Bolter, talked to her, know her kind of, sort of. Freya Christie, know her. I still give her happy birthdays, Merry Christmases, and stuff like that every once in a while. Who else? Are there any others? We know a lot of the college players that have come from there, like Sabrina Federici and Lana. I can't remember Lana's last name off the top of my head. Right now, you got Olivia Pete going to school here. She's from, I don't know, not from London, but they're all from England. So anyway, we know some of them. Anyway, that's what the giveaway stuff is. I don't know if y'all want that stuff or not. If you don't have to enter to try to win it. Okay, got to find the end here. So he has 2 rackets. So we're just going to pull off the string twice here. 1, 2, 3. There's a cross for 1. There's a cross for 2. Yep, hang on. There's a main. Put the mains over here. And 1. Main for the other one. And I'm not going to put that string up yet because I've got some more right behind it. I'd pull off of them too, but usually pulling off for 2 or 3 racks is about my limit because I really don't have anywhere to put it. This is the main strings. I hang them back here. These are the crosses. Crosses I hang on my little tools over here. some of those guys that do these lives there, and they can talk and talk and talk and talk. They have all kinds of topics they've already planned out in advance. Obviously, I do not. So machine, because almost everything is sold out right now. It's hard to get. I can get the Torna 700 ES, which is an X-Spider if you're overseas. But I can get the Torna 700 ES right now. They're supposed to be I can get on the pre-order list, and they're supposed to be here on April the 8th. And for my purposes, what I want it for, that would work just fine. So it's not going to see a lot of use. You probably be lucky if it sees 100 rackets a year. It'll take me forever to pay it off. But the savings just in gas and whatnot, mileage on my car, would be worthwhile. And obviously, in my little instructional videos, I always use a starting clamp to back up my clamp when starting the mains. And I'm actually stringing. I usually don't do that because that just burns up time. I know how tight my clamps are. I can tell if it's going to slip or not. Just so you know. And for some reason, I rarely ever change out grommet strips for people. For some reason, last month I have done a lot of grommet strips. A lot of them been for the university. It's not that I mind doing them, but I really do have a little bit of the arthritis in my hands. So it takes me a long time because I get cramps real bad as I'm putting them on. So I've got to take breaks. I've also calculated out, just for those that want to know, if you decide you're going to start your little stringing business, if you do string by the reel, even by the set, sort of, kind of, if you buy string by the reel, and I'll tell you how I do my little business model. I average, I guess, 16 rackets per reel. I know you can get more than that, but I guess 16 for finance purposes. But guessing that on the average, you only make a profit on the last 3.5 rackets. The first, 12.5 rackets is just paying for the reel of string. So try not to waste your string, I guess. But when people, I see some of these guys that got, I've got it between that over there, this over here, I've got at least probably $4,000 in string. And when you think that most of that's going to sit there and I'm not making a profit on it until I get down to the last three, really realistically, 3 rackets that I do on it. And some of these reels, I have it because it's a popular string and it does sell. But some of them I only sell 3-4 rackets a year off of. So that tells you how long it takes me to make a profit on some of my string. And then before I make a profit on it, when they get down to about 4 rackets worth of string on a reel, I buy another reel to back it up. So it takes a long time to make a profit on string. In case anybody was wondering. Oh. Anybody got any amazing questions? Oh, something else I've given lots of thought to. I've mentioned this in I think a Facebook group or something one time. So something that happens to me often. Local players, they'll go to like tournaments and stuff and break a string, then they call me or text me or something. Hey, do you know anybody in such and such city that strings rackets? And I know you can like be a paid member of the USRSA or UKRSA or some of those, but it would be nice if you didn't have to be a paid member of one of those to look somebody up. I wish there was like a little database. I wish I was smart enough to create an app just for stringers, so that any stringer, home stringers, any stringer, could get into the app, create an account, put their data in there that was searchable by city. And then other stringers, i.e. myself or one of you guys, could go into said app when somebody calls and says, hey, do you know a stringer in Tupelo, Mississippi? I go to Tupelo, Mississippi, and if somebody put their data in there, well, yeah, there's this guy. And they could have what type of equipment, how long they've been stringing for, whatever their credentials, that type of stuff. That's what I wish I had. And if somebody really want to be smart, I guess you can make it a paid app. Just charge like 99 cents for it. I guess you could charge more, but most home stringers aren't going to pay more than $1 or $2 for something. But it'd also be nice for like the university, because whenever they hit the road and go out of town, they just talk to whoever the coaches are there, and they set them up with somebody. But it'd be nice if before they left, I could give them somebody's name and contact information and say, hey, when you hit the road and you go to so-and-so, call this guy up. He'll string your rackets. He'll do a good job for you. So I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not, like I said in some of my videos, you watch enough videos, you'll see a lot of bad ones. And you watch enough of them, you'll probably at some point in time come back to mine. I think they're probably some of the bad ones. I don't know. But there are some bad stringers out there stringing for some people. Case in point, the guys team here just went to a tournament. I'm not going to say where or anything like that. They just went to a tournament. And they came back and they said the stringing was horrific. That you'd give them 2 rackets and get them back, that they'd all have big old smiley faces, strings all bunched, pulled in. Said you'd tell them that you wanted it at 55 and you'd go hit them. And one of them would feel like a trampoline, one of them would feel like a 2x4. So they did not appreciate the stringing at said tournament. I know I'm all the time getting rackets, but they get strung out on the road. I mean, believe it or not, have, a 16-19 racket turned into a 16-18, 16-17, a 14-19. It happens the most on like your 18-20s. A lot of 18-20s turn into 16-19s. And I know I was on I don't remember if it was a Facebook group or I don't remember where it was. There was a discussion that, when they're on the road, that most university coaches just assume that whoever is stringing for them is an MRT. And I'm going to tell you that is incorrect. Because believe it or not, the vast majority of these schools just have students right out of high school stringing for them and paying them work study hours. Sometimes they have to train them. Sometimes they're kids that actually kind of semi know what they're doing. But they're just doing it for money while they're in college. They're not MRTs. They're not certified stringers. They're not anything. They're just somebody that knew how to string a little bit. I've got a girl supposed to be here this summer, I think. She has expressed interest anyway. Want me to string her for that sole purpose so that she can go back to her university and string for her work study hours. So it is highly doubtful, because they know that their people are not MRTs, and they know that the people coming to their school, that they're going to be using those same people, they do not expect every stringer out there to be an MRT. That's just kind of the way it is. I'll go look at comments again here in just a second. When I finish this one, I will go look. So for those of y'all that were in and saw what I was giving away, if you don't mind commenting, is that pretty decent stuff to give away? Y'all think it's just being kind of a bunch of crap I don't want I'm giving away, which kind of sort of is, but not really. The stencils, I know you can probably call around and get them for free, but that saves you a little bit of work. But stencils, I got one back here. Also got some old grommets. So if somebody hears this video and you need some old grommet sets for a Prince, and if I can lie to you, I have to go get them. I think I got a Prince Thunderstruck. I got 2 or 3, 4 sets for that. Prince TT Stealth 102 and some head liquid metal 4, I think 1619s. But if y'all know somebody that needs one of those, or if you need one of those, leave me a comment and I'll reach out to you. I wouldn't sell them, I'd give them to you, but it'd have to be, you need it. You'd have to pay shipping. I'm not going to pay to ship these things all over the world, but now my giveaway box, I will pay for that shipping. And again, I'll bag it later. That way we can just keep it going. I know you can only watch somebody string rackets for so long and you get bored. Okay. Anybody else said anything? That is a great idea, Jeff. I agree. Direct Tennis. So is that an app? Or is it a website? Does it allow just any and everybody? So I've had this idea before, and I've had several stringers and forums and groups and whatnot all talk about it, but none of them have ever actually pointed me in the direction where you could actually get it done. You know, a little database for people. Oop, the string fell. But Direct Tennis, I will have to look that up. I know you can go on the USRSA website and you can look up by location and everything, but you know, you gotta be a paid member to put your information on there. You know, there's several home stringers here. And several. I don't know how many there are here. I know at least, I think 3 or 4. At least 4, maybe 5. They don't do near the volume that I do, but they do stuff. I've seen some of their work, and I wouldn't give it back to a customer that way, but you know, hey, each their own. Oh, okay. So here's another kind of a pet peeve. So every week, just for something to do, I'll jump on the YouTube and I will look up all the videos that were posted in the previous week of tennis stringing, racket stringing, all that type of stuff. And for the most part, I'll watch all of them. I don't watch everything in those topics, but if it's actually people stringing rackets or talking about stringers and stuff like that, I'll always watch. And my little pet peeve is a lot of those guys will say, leave me comments. And I'll go in there and leave comments. But very few of them ever reply back. I was like, well, why'd you want to comment in the first place? Because you don't know if they ever read it. Now, that said, I try to reply, or at least read all the comments I ever get. And I try to go in there, at least if I don't reply to it, at least look at the little thumbs up thing, like it, whatever. And, but, like I was going through some of them, I don't know, 2-3 days ago. Might have been yesterday. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, yesterday, Monday. And I had comments in there from a year ago that I've never seen before. So I went back and replied a little late, but hey, at least I did it. If I end up ordering another machine, I will do a review video and post my thoughts. And then after about a year, I will go in and do a 1-year update. That's if I do it. So what my dream is just get me another one of these. But I'd like to get a new one of these, but I can't get a great deal on it anymore. I used to get good deals on them. So for informational purposes, this machine, right after the original Brexit vote, and the London pound dropped in value like a rock. And it was right after that, you know, here in the U.S., these things were going for $6,000 a piece or up. And they were going for, I don't even remember, going for like $5,800, something like that a piece over in the UK. But when they did that Brexit vote, and y'all all voted to do the Brexit, these things dropped down to like $3,700. So I bought one. I was looking at Babolat when they were coming out with their new racket station. And I was on the list, quote unquote, on the list. So I was told I was on the list. And then all of a sudden the list disappeared and they quit selling the machines. I don't know if they ever sold any of them, but I don't think any of them ever came to the U.S. So I got this. But I can't get these for $3,700 brand new anymore. I mean, after machine, shipping, and import tax, everything, I only paid a little over $4,000 for it. Brand new in the box. That was a good deal. So for the guy in London, I've been to London. I will tell you, I love your country. It is a beautiful country. I was not big on London. I mean, every freaking 5 feet you walk, there's some homeless dude sitting there begging for money. didn't look like y'all had any sidewalk or street repair in about 300 years. But there was something going on all the time. I give it that. We went to the Cotswolds. I really like that area. Went to a river festival out at something upon Avon, wherever Shakespeare was from. Went to a river fest out there. That was pretty cool. I like going anywhere because I live in West Texas, and everything here is just flat. It's all cotton fields and dirt. We're in our 4th day of having brown skies because the wind blows real hard and picks up the dirt. So just the sky's always brown. It's not always brown, but it's brown right now. And we don't really have trees. I mean, there's trees in people's yards and whatnot, but we don't have like trees. So I love going places because I just like looking at trees, mountains. I think the highest spot in our town is the spot there on the campus, and it's only like 12 feet. It's a little bitty, teeny tiny hill. I mean, when I say it's flat here, I know people think we exaggerate. Me and my wife used to live like 40 minutes outside of town, 45 minutes outside of town. And at night, we could stand on our back porch and we could see the lights of Lubbock 40 miles away. So here, maybe after this one, we'll explain the rules for my giveaway. But still don't know if anybody likes it. We're going to find out. I'll probably lose a couple of you guys. So somebody made it like a real statement. Probably telling me how I'm doing everything wrong. And I will tell you on the average for the university, we're a Big 12 school, so it's a big school. I do about an average, I do both teams, men's and women's. I average about 150 rackets per month. But there are schools out there that are doing 250, 300 a month. That just baffles my mind. I can't imagine what their budgets are. When people told me they were stringing 300 a month for their schools, I was like, holy crap. And I don't know what everybody charges. I cut my school a break because, like I said, in the past, I've got a real job. And I just do this for scotch money. And so I'm not like trying to get rich, I give away a lot of stuff and bring a lot of stuff for free. When I say scotch money, I really do. I've got about 60 bottles of scotch. I search out a lot of the smaller distilleries, the hard to find stuff. Whoop. The limited. I always watch racquets.com, and whenever he comes out with his scotch of the year, I always go buy a bottle of that. Man, my nose is itching. Well, hang on. When I finish this, and I'll go look at the comments. Oh, so the guy from London. So Naomi Brody, you go into like the little WTA site, they've got her listed at like 6'2". And I will tell you, when I actually stand straight, I am 6'1", and she's at least 5 inches taller than I am. So I've got a picture of me and her side by side, and she's up here. I'm like in her armpit. She's super sweet too. All right, let me come read the comment and pull more string. Okay. Let's see. Direct Tennis is an app on the iPhone. I just downloaded. Oh, cool. You can only pay for streaming, but it sucks that you yourself on that app. Okay, so string. So since it come up, hang on. While I'm standing here, let me pull this off, and I'll tell you all what strings I sell. And this is one of those things. You kind of learn over time what sells in your area. Now, that's not to say I don't have the occasional person show up that wants something I don't carry, and give them the closest I have to what they want. Basically, all I do, hang on, let me pull these and I will show you. Because some strings I have learned over the years I have bought will sit there for years. And I literally mean years, and you'll never make money on them. It's mean. Hang on, I hadn't forgot. I'll get there. So basically, y'all hadn't figured it out. I'm doing this because my wife is staying with my kid this week out in Dallas, so I'm home alone. I had nothing to do. So I figured, hey, what the heck? I'll do a video. also know if I got to go to the bathroom, the microphone will not go with me. Okay, so string. So this is some Bad Block Hurricane. Print synthetic gut rainbows, great for little girls. Believe it or not, so I actually brought rainbow strings here to town back. I don't know, it's been a long time ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago, 6, 7. And sold all of them, got rid of them, and that was it. In the last year and a half, they've gotten super popular again with adults. So, but anyway, I just keep them around for like little girls. I just put it in a little 6-year-old wheelchair bound girl last week. And no, I do not charge little girls for their rainbow string. That is a gift to me to help keep them interested in playing tennis. I got a spare reel 4-bite. I got a spare gut. All of these are Diadem Solstice Black. This is 16, and there's 3 reels of 17. The story behind Diadem is 2 years ago, I believe. My wife hosted a tournament, and the Diadem rep showed up. We introduced him to the state of Texas. And anyway, he talked to all the local pros, all everybody, got them all an account, and everybody around here sells Diadem rackets. I do not. I sell very few rackets. That is not my job. So, but a lot of them try to push those Diadem. And we tried several of the strings I like, but kids that are going from like junior high, high school, or just graduating with it's real popular with them. I mean, they play that synthetic gut or whatever came in their rackets, and you throw that in there at low T. Man, they think that's the greatest stuff in the world, and so it's pretty good. See, we got Yonex Polytour Pro. Do not sell a lot of that. Got Vice Cannon Scorpion. Brand real. I thought about throwing that in the bag, but I just couldn't do it. I think that's what it's selling on the floor. I think that's Scorpion too. That's one of those. I actually got a free reel of it one time, and I put it on a whole bunch of rackets. And I thought, oh crap, I just ran out. I better buy some. And none of those people ever wanted me to put it on the rackets again. So I got nobody wants. So that educates yourself on what sells in your area. That does not sell in my area. The Polytour Pro does, just it's not very popular. But I do sell some of it. I have Head Velocity MLT and some Head Hawk Touch. Again, does not sell very well around here. There's a little bit here and there, but not very much. Up here, I don't know how many of y'all even know about, but Black Bear Tennis, when they first came out, it was a Texas-based company. And they first came out, I'm the one that actually got the name, the string, Bear Claw. Black Bear Tennis, so I figured Bear Claw. So I got the name of the string, and I got a good deal on several reels of it, and I like it. That's my favorite thing I've ever played with. But it went out of business. The guy that started it, somebody else, he had big plans, and all of a sudden it just went away. So anyway, as far as I know, those are the last 2 reels of it out there. We've got a 16 and a 17. So I play those. I got NXT in 16 and 17. People have given me. I got Prince ZNX. I've got, this is a sample of a Luxilon Adrenaline 125 from back before it was released. I just dropped it. That's back when they were sending it out for people to sample it. Kind of like that. Here's another Luxilon, and I have no idea what that is. It just says Luxilon. You know what? We'll throw that one in the bag. There you go. Get a Luxilon. I got a Luxilon Savage White. I've got a Wilson hollow core. I think I actually got two. Got two Wilson hollow core. I got some VS, Babolat VS XL 16 and 17. XL NXT is real popular with the older club ladies. I'll tell y'all a story here in a minute. I've told it before, but I'll tell you another one. I've got some Prince Crow Blend. I've got some that are like old. They're at least 20 years old. And then I bought some new ones because I had a doctor here in town who, when he was playing in college or school, that's what he used. So that's what he liked. So I keep it around. And the reason I keep it around for him, because he volunteers to be our doctor for the pro tournament. So if he wants Pro Blend, I'll give him Pro Blend. Then I got a bunch of grips, replacement grips, lead. This is all just Kevlar, and most of it's from old Pro Blend. Got all my individual grommets over here. Then on my rack, have a Lou Power. I have RPM Blast 16, 7. These are what I sell the most. RPM 16 and 17, Babolat Synthetic Gut, Wilson Sensation 16 and 17. The only reason I have it in green because that's the only color they had when I needed to buy it. This is a 16 and 17 of the Solstice, another Torbite, and then I have a 16 and 17 Hyper G. So those are the strings that I sell. So those are the ones that are popular and I make money on. And again, like I was saying earlier, if you start doing all the math and everything, you only make a profit when you buy a reel. You only make a profit once you, on about the last 3.5 rackets, maybe 4. I like the Diadem because I do get a good deal on it. And I'm actually making a profit on probably 6 rackets on it, maybe. But the rest of them on average, about 3 to 4 rackets, what's your profit? So obviously, if these are just hanging here, like all these are all still brand new. Well, these aren't new. They don't even make that anymore. But obviously, not making, and I don't make hardly any. I make a couple of dollars on a set of these. So I make all the money just, labor. My labor is fairly cheap. Okay, let's see. Let's read what y'all are saying. Okay. So no, I do not have Genesis Black. It looks not Lou Power and Babolat RPM Blast reels. I believe I see they're over there though. In fact, I just ordered a spare reel at a 16 RPM. Should be here like Friday or Saturday. Let's see. I saw your video of comparing the Biardo and Biardo Light, but my question is, does the Biardo Light pull just as accurate? Yes. I have them calibrated exactly the same. I mean, yeah, they're both dead on. Budget friendly or just get the Biardo? It's just going to be me stringing on it. If it's just, okay, so here, my advice. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Do I need any more of this string? Got 1, 2. No. So let me get rid of this string. I have duffel bags in the hallway with all the college string. So really the only differences, I mean, there's differences, but the only true differences, this one has the mechanical up-down tilt. If it's just you stringing on it, you don't need the mechanical up-down tilt. You can just raise that one to whatever level you want and adjust the tilt however you want. And there you go. Then the other difference is gravity release clamps. Let's see, hang on. Let me move my rubber bands. Let me see if I can do this around. Okay. So these have the little twist lock clamp base, and they work fine. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with them, but they're not a gravity release. I prefer gravity release. And that's really the only real differences. I mean, this one, the Biardo has the computerized screen, and that one's just not as fancy. You can't save stringers in it. You can't. Let's see, what else can you not do? You can't save stringers. You can't set 2 different tensions. It goes up by half pounds or half kilos, where this one goes up by tenths. So if it was just me streaming and I wasn't doing the volume that I do, yeah, I would just get that. And speaking of like Torna and X-Spider, the X-Spider down press clamps bases that they make, you can actually order those custom to fit the Biardo L, so you have a gravity release clamp. So, and that'd cost you about, I think they're like 200 and I'm gonna lie to you, 225, 240 a piece, 250 a piece, something like that. So anyway, but you can do that. And the newer model, but it's the L and the newer models of this one have the, you know, the columns that push and come in for badminton. But I don't do badminton rackets, so I don't really care about that. I thought about doing a video on how you set these up to do badminton rackets, but I just never have done it. But yes, it is just as accurate. If it was just me streaming, yes, I'd probably just get the L. Because it is, I mean, other than the clamp bases, the computer screen, and the motors, they're the exact same machine. As well, my Wilson Bear touchscreen does not work. Do you know any Wilson people, Herb, or anyone that repairs Wilson Biardo streaming machines? Yes, but only know it in the U.S. It's what's his name? I think he goes by JC. I'll look it up and put it in the description. Stringingmachines.com or something like that. But he is the official. Like if you buy a Biardo doesn't do any, or Wilson doesn't do any of their own warranty repairs or anything like that. It's him. Tennismachines.com, I think, something like that. But anyway, he's the one that actually does all the repair and all the warranty work for Wilson. Uh-oh. Let's see. Head coach and Wilson people. So that would be my answer for that one, Alexi. Other than that, if you're not in the U.S., I really don't know what to tell you. I know there's Wilson UK and Wilson Europe and all of them. You might contact them. But that would be the best I could tell you for that. Okay, so back to this. Okay, so for those who just joined, I've got my little box giveaway stuff. We'll go through it again since I just added some string. So in my box, here, let me turn you back this way. Woo. In my box, you get 100 plastic bags. You get 2 head stencils. These are all brand new. They got scratched up a little bit, but they are brand new. 2 head stencils, the old model and the newer model. You get 2 Wilson stencils, the small stencil and the large stencil. And the only difference is the size of the W. You get 2 prints, one with the little arrow, one without. You get, because I couldn't give you stencils without the daubers, you get a white and a black Babolat stencil dauber. You get, in case you've never done them before, a heat shrink sleeve so that you can practice doing a grip enlargement. You get, just because I had it sitting around, I don't do racquetball, a strap for a racquetball racket. And then you get a head FXP tour. You get a Diadem Pro X17 gauge and a mystery Lutsalon 16 gauge that somebody was selling for $30. That is what you get in the bag, or the box. So the rules to be eligible to win my box, I'm going to do 2 things. One, you have to subscribe to my channel. You have to leave a comment with, say something stupid like, I want your stuff or something like that. In the comments, not in the chat, but in the actual comments. But for most of you guys, you got to be in the continental U.S. because I'm not going to pay $100 to ship this overseas. So if you're in the continental U.S., subscribe to my channel, like my video, and leave a comment in the comment section that says, I want your stuff, or give me your stuff, or something. And after I get either 100 entries or a month from now during the Big 12 championship. I'm going to go to Dallas and I think and stream some of the Big 12 championship. I'm going to try to maybe even do a video there, maybe not, because I'll be doing it out of my kid's apartment. But anyway, I'll figure out who the winner is at that time, and I'll get in touch with you. We'll exchange information, and I will throw the box in the mail. So that's how that's going to work. So now all you guys from Europe probably sign off, quit watching, because you know you're not going to get to win it. Kind of sucks for y'all. And if I decide to buy that other machine, and it is the Torna 700 ES, which would be fine for what I want to do with it, by just leaving it at the university, maybe string 100 rackets a year on it. Maybe. Probably not even that many. If I was to do that, I'm going to attempt, I don't know if it'll work, but I want to try it, and see if I can just take the clamps and clamp bases off of it and put them on the Biardo L. And if they can, I'll just do that, and I'll put these twist lock clamps on it and just leave it at the spool. Okay, so like this machine, so here's what some people don't realize, and I realized that people didn't realize. A couple of weeks ago, when I went on Patrick's channel, and he was talking about stringing machines. I understand that most of you guys, it's only one person that ever uses the machines, but I actually have several people that use this machine. I had enough stringing business that I didn't want to pick up any more stringing business. So one of the guys I was stringing quite a bit for, he started coaching, and he was starting to send me all of his kids to string. So now I was stringing for him, his sister, all his students, and he was coaching like 45 kids. And I really didn't want it, so I taught him how to string. And so he uses it. And I just gave him a remote to our garage, and he comes over and strings whenever he wants to. I do not charge him for using the machine, but I do charge him for string, but I just charge him my cost. So I've got a little list right here that he has taken a picture of that has my cost for the string and what I recommend him sell it for, which I sell everything at retail. I guess, I'm not like some guys, I don't pay $10 for a set of string that they're selling for $12, but I'm marking it up to $20, $25 just because I can. If Tennis Warehouse sells it for $12, I sell it for $12. The only markup I've got is I will mark up the if it's like $12.99, I charge $13. That's my only markup. So here in a second, I'll go and any of you guys are lost. We're over in Europe. Realize you have to win. Quit watching. I also have not had dinner tonight, so at some point. Oh, so what do y'all think about Rafa? There's something we can discuss. I'm gonna tell you what. We know a girl that knows old Taylor Fritz. I know Fritz won, and he ought to be super happy and proud and all that good stuff. And people are to cheer that he won his first 1,000 event. And yada 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 yada. But I would really. I'm not going to say I would think less, but I would think differently after knowing that Rafa was playing that match with some cracked ribs or whatever it is. And still almost won, Still took me to tie break. So for those wondering what I'm doing over here, I'm just making sure I didn't have a crossover because this model of racket, you could get a crossover at the head pretty easy. I'm just making sure I didn't do that. Is there anything that anybody wants me to discuss? And I'm not saying I know everything because I don't. Yeah, we're having that discussion last week about stringing machines on his channel, and that's when one of the guys made the comment he didn't realize that there were multiple people that use my machine. I've actually got 4 programmed into it, but over the years there have been other people that would come over. Like there's another kid that used to go to high school with my kid, and I taught him how to string, and then he moved. But every time he'd come back into town, if he had rackets, I'd let him come over and string on it. I have over the years at the little pro tournament, if I had a pro pop up, said they knew how to string and they were friendly and nice and all that good stuff. If they had the time, instead of me charging them to string their rackets, I'd let them jump on it and string. You know, most of them are broke kids anyway, just trying to make it. And if they pay me, all I'm going to do is go buy another bottle of scotch with it that I'm not drinking. Feel like I got something in my contact. I did watch a video of a guy. I don't know if he's TikTok or Instagram. I can't remember. He goes by like Next Level Stringing or something. Looks like a nice guy. I think he's an MRT. Do a grommet set. He showed it, and he did like a whole grommet set in like 10 minutes, 10 and a half minutes. Pretty impressive. Because I'll tell you, I can't do it. You know, some rackets, grommets are easy. But freaking Babolat is not one of them. And 80% of the rackets I'm seeing here lately are Babolat. But again, I can't do grommets that fast because I get going around the side, my hands start to cramp up real bad, and I have to take breaks. And it probably takes me 20 minutes to do a grommet set. So, and I don't know, I may have said it in a previous video. I was talking about machines. The Biardo L. So at the time, I was in the market for another another machine. So let me tell you, semi my string history or my machine history, sort of, kind of. And the Cliff Notes version is I had, started on drop weight. I've strung on some cranks, Alpha Ghost. I didn't own all of them, but I strung on a bunch of them, a bunch of different machines, some Babolats. Anyway, so I had the Gamma Progressions, and those are my most cost-effective machine, and they were actually very good machines. And you can get pretty good customer service with them. So there wasn't anything really wrong with them, low model machine, more things for string to get hung up on, instead of turning one dial to mount your racket, you got to turn 4. Yet they're good little machines. They're good enough. I actually strung some tournaments on those machines. Plant bases aren't all that, nothing to write home about, but they work. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They work. But anyway, so I had 2 of them, and I actually sold one to a high school in California. because they needed a machine. He contacted me, blah, blah, blah. So I gave him a pretty good deal because it was going to a high school, and sold him my older of the two machines. And the second one that I had, I used to keep it at the university. And that was my little one the machine, or if I was ever at the courts, because they'll have high schools, they'll have their like district championships and state championships and stuff like that. Every once in a while, will pop up on the courts, and so I'd keep it up there for stuff like that, or they'd have like in the summer they have a couple ITF tournaments and stuff like that. I'd always just keep it up there, I'm not gonna pick this thing up and move it and go to one of those tournaments when you're only going to pick up one or two rackets, if you're lucky. So I just leave them up there, left it up there. But then I had somebody contact me about buying it, and it was just sitting there, wasn't making me any money. So I thought, sure, what the hey. So I sold it. And kind of sort of wish I hadn't, just because, I would like, when gas was cheap and I was driving a little car, getting 30 miles to the gallon, it wasn't too bad. But now that I'm driving a car getting 19 miles to the gallon and gas is $4 a gallon, it kind of makes a little bit of a difference. So I kind of want one again. So when I got into the market, I was looking for another like one of these. But I really didn't need another one of these. Spend $6,000 for a machine that was going to sit in that corner of the house. And if I was lucky, get maybe 100 rackets a year on it. So I actually bought that one as my backup to put back at the university. And then I ended up not doing it because I did pick up, like I was saying earlier, pick up more business. And there are nights, I come home, I'll have 20, 30 rackets. I mean, it's not common, but I do occasionally have 20, 30 rackets. And, like I said, I got a real job. So I start stringing late at night. So there's a lot of nights I'll throw my wife over there and let her string some rackets for me. I'm not going to say she's cheap. I make the same amount of money on them, but she works for pedicures. So that kind of works out for me. She'll string a few rackets and I got to get her a pedicure. Or pay for her pedicure. But anyways, now I've gotten to the point where I really need the one here. But it would sure be nice to have another one there. But the reason I got that one, because one, I was familiar with Wilson. And I figured that'd be pretty close to the same thing, just a little bit cheaper. So it kind of worked out for me. But they pull exactly the same. I mean, if you take the turntable off, the computer, they're the exact same machine. Other than the base. And the base is where you really got all the money. If I were to guess, clamps, obviously they quit making these clamps, the nice heavy beefy ones, and they've gone to the clamps that are on those. I don't know, these are probably $150 a piece if you were to try to buy them, which they don't make them anymore, so I don't even know if you could buy them. And those are probably, I don't know, they're probably $125 a piece. But the clamp bases, these clamp bases are like $250 a piece. And those you can probably get for $100 maybe. So there's a difference. Now hang on. I'll come read comments here in a second. So again, I'm not set up like a lot of these guys that have all the fancy stuff. I'm lucky to turn computer on, let alone do all the high-tech stuff. Having multiple cameras and all that, I can't do that. It took me about 3 hours just to figure out how to schedule a live video. Okay, let's see what y'all say. Okay, your touchscreen does not work. Okay, or sell the Wilson Auto Parts, blah, blah, blah. Looks like he's in Chesterfield, Missouri, and I want you. So I could honestly drive. They're pretty easy on truck. We are to a shop. Oh, yeah. He's a nice guy. Like I said, his name's JC. He's a super nice guy. Roth is such a great warrior and ambassador for tennis everywhere. Hope he gets back to the course, and I do too. Heck yeah, Scotch. Darn too. I've seen your video about using the Diablo. You say you use it for multi-filament strings. When I string, I like to use the Diablo because I feel I get more consistent pull. What do you think? I would say you're probably correct. There's a lot of rackets out there that do not have a Diablo. Not rackets, but a lot of machines out there that do not have a Diablo. Here I was just talking about clamps over here. But a lot of them that don't even have it. Does that mean I should or shouldn't use it? No. I don't know. I just don't. I know it's not going to put enough pressure on polystring to damage the polystring right here. I mean, it just pulled right there. It didn't deform that or anything. But without the Diablo, you put natural gut in there or a soft multi or something, you know, it can ghost it pretty good. And sometimes even using the Diablo will still ghost it a little bit. But yeah, you are correct. If you're going to use it, you should probably use it all the time. I have just gotten used to not on poly. It is, you know, it's not like a lot faster, but it is a little quicker not using it. I think you probably get a tighter string bed if you use it. If you get you one of those little apps or something and test your tension after your string, I would guess that your string bed probably, I'm not going to say significant, probably a couple of percentage higher if you use the Diablo compared to not using it. But I like grabbing a string and throwing it over there and moving on. I think I've done videos before where I've used it just because people always want to watch me use it. And really, I mean, if you think about it, how much time am I really saving by doing this as opposed to this? You know, I mean, what is that? Maybe a second per pull, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double do 4. So if you go, what is that? Roughly average 38 racket, roughly. So 38 seconds a racket. It doesn't sound like much till you got 30 rackets, and you just saved 15 minutes, which is a racket. But I would agree with you. Using Diablo is probably smarter than not using it. And if I were to use it all the time, I'd probably wouldn't even take me a second. Probably wouldn't be saving that much time. And it's kind of like using that progression. That's basically, you know, like people talk about the rotary machines. Basically, all the rotor, you know, all that is a Diablo. Same concept. That's a, I don't know. Oh no, it's not something in my contact. I got a big smudge. Let me clean my glasses. Can I zoom in on my Diablo, please, for us? Does it have a rubber piece around it, or it's all metal? Oh wait, let's see. We can't comment on this video, by the way. I think you turned. No, you can comment on it after I publish the video. You cannot comment on it while it is live. When it's live, you just have the comments in live chat. But once the video is over with, I will publish it, and then you can go back and leave a comment. Okay, let's see. He said we can. Hey Herb, how much luck do you have dealing with the reps, especially Wilson Bablock Yannick? Do you buy direct from them? They won't even give me an account, and I have a small retail shop. Hang on, I'll answer that. Which way would you do to have more true tension, with or without the Diablo? Well, okay, so I'll get back to the Wilson stuff. You're going to have true tension on both of them. You're just going to have different tension, if that makes sense. So if you're using the Diablo and you use it all the time, then you're going to have true tension, whatever your reference tension is, plus or minus. If you don't use it, you're going to have whatever you're pulling, plus or minus. So if you use like all the little apps and all that type of stuff, which, I have those. Depending on what settings you use, I can take a racket off and make it ping right on. But if you really think about it, once you have strung a racket, straightened out the strings and taken it off, it's already lost probably a pound or two, so it probably shouldn't actually be right on. But I can change the settings and make it drop up, or I can change the settings and make it go up. So true tension, I don't think there is a true tension. You're pulling a reference tension. I'm pulling my reference tension without Diablo, or you can pull reference tension with the Diablo. So you're going to get whatever you're pulling. It's just maybe it feels a little tighter, maybe it feels a little looser. So which one is the true tension, the true pull? I just think if you use it, you're going to get a little bit stiffer string bed than if you don't use it. When I say a little bit, I'm talking like maybe 2%. That's not going to be like some big swing. It's probably going to be half pound, maybe a pound difference. So that'd be my answer. Wilson Bablock Yannick. No, I've never had any luck dealing with any of them. When I first started this 17 years ago, I called around, I got tax ID number, all that good stuff, and I called around to all of them. None of them would deal with me. I'll tell you the whole story here, in fact, since we're on it. But none of them would actually. The only one that would was Solenco. But they were still a young company. I don't know if they still do it, but they were a young company. And they would deal with absolutely anybody. They just wanted to get their string out there and their name out there. So they gave me an account, and I think they gave me like 25% off and all that good stuff. Only issue I had, and I still liked it and everything, still bought from them, was after I paid shipping, they'd give me 25% off of a reel. But then after I paid shipping, I was paying retail for the reel. And if I was going to do that, I might as well just buy it from like Tennis Warehouse or somebody where I didn't have to pay the shipping. So they were adding almost 25% per reel for shipping. But the rest of them go, no, I tried all of them. None of them would deal with me. And I'm going to say, even though you have a brick and mortar, and my main thing is I was not a brick and mortar. But even if I was a brick and mortar, none of them would work with me. Because there is a tennis specialty store here in town who had the exclusive rights to Wilson and Bablock and Yannick and here in town. So they will not, my wife tried to get an account with them for the charity. And all of them told her she got to go through that guy. But they wouldn't give her an account. We have to just go to him and buy it. And if he wants to give us a break on it, he'd give us a break on it. But they would not give us a discount. But all of them without fail. But hey, we'll send you some stencils and let you give us all the free advertising that you can give us. And I decided way back when I would never stencil a racket because I was not going to give free advertising to a bunch of companies who are not willing to work with the little guy, you know. They're only concerned with the big people. So that's why I've got a whole bunch of brand new stencils and stencils ink because, you know, I had another guy give all that stuff to me, but I do not stencil rackets. At the pro tournament, every once in a while, I have a player come up and ask me if I'll stencil for them. I tell them no, so they're always going to have their own stencil and their own ink if they're sponsored. So I just let them do it. Over the years, I've had maybe 4 or 5 college kids ask me if I'd stencil their rackets, and I just told them no. Anyway, I will not stencil a racket. Somebody wants it stenciled, they can stencil it themselves. And I'm probably wrong, but I believe this is my belief. So a lot of these strings have like a nice little slick coating on them and all that good stuff. Slap against each other and move, and then you're going to go take some ink and cover all that up and make the strings stick to each other. For some reason, to me, that just sounds counterproductive for the string job. Maybe it's not. I guess I'm assuming it's not. I mean, if you really think about it, most players don't really hit hard enough to move the strings around like, you know, Rafa or Roger or Djokovic or, you know, any of those guys, any of the college players or anything like that. I mean, all these old ladies and guys and kids and high school players. Oh, there's my wife. Hang on. Taking a break. Hello? Okay, I'm doing my live video. What do you need? Yep. Okay, bye. She lost a credit card, but then she found it. Yay. So anyway, that's my story for stencils. Oh, crap. I didn't even show you all everything. Hang on. Let me finish this racket. I'll show you all some other stuff. Oh, and I had a guy call me today just for demonstration purposes. Wants me to string him a racket using the spaghetti string. So he just wants to have it at the club to mess around with. He's one of the pros out there. So that ought to be pretty interesting if I actually do it. Need to find a Wilson because it's a modern-ish racket. Probably need to try to get a Wilson. It's called their grommets are typically a little bit bigger. It'd be easier to get 2 strings into the grommets. Or like these freaking Bablots, man. Their grommets are so dang tiny. You can barely get 1 string in them. Now I will tell you. So I've over the years, you know people, you meet people, and I've had a lot of people give me stuff. There's a lady here in town who played on the tour for I don't know how long she played. She was the very first professional tennis player ever sponsored by Oakley. But you go to a lot of tournaments and you get like free samples of stuff. And she brought me literally back. She got to number. I'm gonna lie. No. But anyway, she brought me bags. I mean, literally bags of string of all sets that she'd been given as samples as she went around the world playing tournaments. And me and my wife helped helped a guy close out a pro shop. And he had a bunch of old rackets and string. I fixed up all the old rackets, changed out all the grips, restrung them, cleaned them up, all that stuff, and we donated all of them. And anyway, a lot of the old string, I keep a lot of that stuff, and that's what I use to teach people how to string with. That way we're not spending actual real money to buy a string to just let them throw in a racket to cut back out. So that's why I like a lot of these. If that girl shows up, we're going to use some of those for her to practice stringing rackets with. Because they were free. So back to our Diablo topic. So yes, if I was to recommend to people, use your Diablo. Machine comes with it, use it. I do not do it. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm just saying I don't do it. But if you're going to get a machine, you're going to have a Diablo. Might as well go ahead and use it. Can't hurt anything. Oh, and talking about like using the apps and stuff, only use those things that are reference. Don't ever assume that those are 100% correct. Even if you got a ERT 300 or a little twisty thing or any of those things, I think there's a new like little tiny little knockoff ERT thing that's out there now. Just use those as a reference. Don't assume that just because you put your settings and stuff in there, it's telling you 100% true to what your rack is strung at. So like all the settings, when I do it, I just set all the settings to like average or whatever it tells you, and just something generic. I will change the head size, and if it's a poly or multi, or if it's 16, 19, 18, 20, or whatever the string pattern is, I'll set those parameters. But everything else, I just kind of make it the average. We'll do Margie first because we're going into the kilos. But if you set it as an average, or just use it as a reference, then you can just base everything off those reference tensions and not assume that it's a true tension of your racket. So again, she had two tensions. So I set her main strings to her main tension, and then I put that onto the cross strings and set that tension. Now when I go back and forth, it'll set everything up for me. Oh, so anyway, here's what I'm going to show you. So I also got a bunch of Fortin competition nylon. I know it doesn't look like a bunch, but there's another reel of it in there. And let's see. And I got some Ashaway Mono Fire XL. Got 2 reels of that, so that's not a full reel, but there's another reel of that in there. And I got some Ashaway Rally TI-21 badminton string. So I might use that if I do that spaghetti stringing. I might use that to tie it together. So anyway, let's see comments. Oh, cool. So you wanted me to zoom in on my Diablo? I don't know how far my camera is going to go. Can you see it? That's the Diablo. Let me go to this one. So they're the same thing. That's the Diablo. It does not spin or anything. It is fixed. You just wrap string around there, but it does not spin around. It had like a little groove in the middle. But that is the Diablo. See, do you think most people like a tighter string bed or a lower string bed when they have their racket strung, just in general? Okay. I'm going to tell you both. Your better players, your pro players, your college players, your even your league players that are out there playing like 5-0 and maybe even 4-0, 4-5, but probably higher than that. I don't know what that all relates to in UTR, higher UTRs, 10 and up, maybe 9 and up. They, based on my experience and what I know of people, prefer the stiffer string bed. That's the reason your pros and even your college kids, they like fresh strings. The fresher the better. They want to play them, play a set, get rid of that racket, get another one, get fresh strings. That's what they want. They want that tight string bed. Your average club player, even your average high school player, middle school player, all your little league players, for the most of them, the vast majority want that soft, squishy, comfy string bed. They don't want it all tight and feeling like a board. They like to feel like they get a lot of pocketing, and they just makes them feel like they're killing it. If they are or they're not, it doesn't matter. They feel like that pocketing feel, but y'all know what I'm talking about. That pocketing, that's what they want. So I would say both is correct. Your better players want the tighter filling string bed. The rec players, league players, 99% of your high school type players want a softer string bed. And I base a lot of that on college players, pro players, they want fresh rackets. High school players, league players, all like that, they want you to string, but then they like how it feels after they've been playing it for about a month. Because the strings are broke in, they start to pocket a little bit better. That's how they like it. So, you have a lot of them. I don't know, y'all probably have this too, but you'll have a lot of them come to you with a racket. But man, I want it just like this. Can you replicate the way it is right now? And, 9 times out of 10, no, you can't because the string's broke. So, I have no idea where I put. Oh, my cutters are over here. So you can't really replicate it. So basically, what they're trying to tell you, and then you ask, oh, so what are you stringing at? Oh, I string at 57, which you go, well, that's crazy. But what they're really telling you is they want it to feel like it's hitting it at about 40, 45. I play at 30. Depending on what string I string. I'll adjust my tension so that when it settles at around 30, 32, somewhere in that area. Because I like it nice and soft because I'm old and I have bad shoulder and arthritis in my elbows, and so I like to hit the ball and let the racket do all the work, and me just kind of stand there and feel like I did something. Okay, I don't know how long it's been. Feels like it's been a little while. So again, we're doing a giveaway. Got to be in the U.S. You have to subscribe to my channel. You got to like this video, and you got to leave a comment once I publish the video. You got to leave a comment saying I want your stuff, or give me your stuff, or something like that. And you're going to get the 3 sets of string. You're going to get a little racket strap. You get the heat shrink sleeve so you can resize the racket handle. You're going to get 2 ink daubers, a white and a black. You're going to get some 100 bags to put rackets in. And you're going to get a bunch of stencils, some Prince, Wilson, and whatever the other one was, Head. So, just so you know. And what time is it? It is almost 8 o'clock. And you've only got 3 left. Not too bad. And I have never really tracked how many rackets I do in a year. People ask me all the time how many I do. No, really, I never knew. And the way like last year, so what I do, I have invoices. I can go back and pull up all my old invoices and count those, but I can't count the visiting colleges because I do not save those invoices. I just print them, give them to them, and that's the last I ever see of it. But I have the ones for the university here, and I have all my local peoples, and stuff like that. And I don't even have a thing for the tournaments that I do, the track. So last year I decided, I didn't think about it though until like September, and I decided to try to track them. So last year, so the only number I could come up with last year was 1,854 for the year. But again, anything that I did for free would not have been on my in an invoice because it was free. Anything I did for a visiting university, I could not count because I don't have them listed anywhere. And so I don't know. I average roughly 5 rackets per team because, you know, some teams won't give me any, but some teams will give me 15 or 20. So I average right around 5 per team. But I didn't know that, so I didn't count that. Anybody, you know, I do a lot of free rackets for the coaches and stuff. I've told y'all this before, a way to kind of build business. I coach a lot of the private coaches for free, and then they just refer their kids to me. And even if you have like private schools and stuff like that in your area that have teams, you can talk to them because, you know, most of the time they don't have stringers, and talk to them and do the same thing. Go to the private school, talk to the coach and say, hey, I'll string you for free. All you got to do is refer the kids to me. I might pick you up some business. So anyway, that's the number I came up with last year, was 1,854. So that's what I could actually count. So I don't know how many I actually did. So this year I'm actually trying to count. And I was averaging 200 a month starting January the 1st, but March has been a little bit slower. Because the teams have been on the road a lot. Like the girls team, they were on the road for 2 weeks. I didn't have any of theirs. In fact, it's kind of a funny story. So they actually had a whole bunch of rackets before they were going to go on the road trip. They had a whole bunch of rackets. And the coach called me up and said, hey, Herb, we're leaving at such and such time in the morning. We left a whole stack of rackets. Can you get them before we hit the road? Yeah, sure, no problem. Then about 5 minutes later, she called back and said, oh, hey, the head coach is already driving on the road. He took all of our string with him, so they didn't have any string. So they just did everything out on the road. So see, I went from 25 kilo to 24 kilo. You know, dropped the string down there somewhere. It's way over there, so I'm not going to go over there yet. And again, I have said in my videos that learn as much as you can, watch all that you can. Don't try to string like I do. Try to create your own style or develop your own style, because you're going to anyway. Everybody I've ever taught how to string, you know, for the first couple of months, they string like I do. But over time, they develop their own little ticks and quirks and their own little muscle memories doing whatever they do. And they might use the same knot that I use. They may still start the racket the same, but, you know, I mean, they start over time, they just kind of develop their own little styles. That's why every stringer strings a little different. Even on the same machine, your string bed will be a little bit different. So when I say I don't use a Diablo, that does not mean for you to not use a Diablo. Make your own decision. See, so like all of my players, they're used to me doing it the way I do it. So I would not want to start changing it where I used it on every racket, because they're already used to the way I do it without using it. If that makes sense. These videos take me a long time. And I'm not doing videos, I'm not talking, I'm not. Usually have either TV on or radio playing, or the Alexa, I guess, playing, and tell it to play something, it plays it. But you know, and everybody always wants to know how fast you can string rackets. Don't worry about how fast you can string a racket. You string it however fast you string it, and that's it. Sometimes I'll get in a hurry, and when I get in a hurry, that's usually when I kind of mess up. I would say I average, I don't know, I probably, when I'm not doing a video, I average just stringing about 14 and a half minutes, 14 and a half minutes per racket. That's average. Because I got the ones in the bag are all 1820s I'd done earlier. And they Hyper G and Torbite, I believe. Those take me about 16 and a half, 17 minutes. And then like these with the RPM, I usually go a little bit faster. Head and Wilson rackets, I usually string faster than Babolat and Yonex rackets because it's easier to pull the string. That Diadem Solstice that I do, it's so rough, it's hard to weave, but they usually take me a little bit longer. I know my fastest racket was 10 minutes and 24 seconds during the pro tournament last year. But that's just putting string in it, and that's not doing everything. The fastest, I did an on-court racket back, I think 4 years ago maybe, at the tournament. And the whole thing from the time they handed it to me, I cut strings out, pulled string out, strung, put it in a bag, and handed it back to the coach to run back out onto the court. Took me, I think, right at 14 minutes to do the entire thing. And I do not remember the string. I do not remember the racket. Only thing I remember is she was, I don't even remember that. I think she was from Russia, I think. And I did one time, this is at the pro tournament, and I know this girl from Russia because we talked for a little bit. She came up and actually told me I was a good stringer. She said, "You are a good stringer." I was like, "Oh, thanks." But her coach would hand me a racket, and he always wanted me to string while he was there. And so what he had done, he had an Ertz 300, and I'd start on the racket, and he'd stand there and wait for me. Even if it was like he'd given it to me today, and I told him, "Well, it's going to be tomorrow," he'd come by that morning first thing and ask me when I was going to get to the racket, and he'd stand there and watch. And I would finish stringing the racket, you know, and I always bag them, hand them out to him and everything. And as soon as I'd hand it to him, he'd take it out of the bag and put the Ertz on it, the Ertz. And so he never said anything to me. He'd just check it and walk away. And after, I think it was the fourth racket, I think the fourth or fifth racket I did for him, the player, and I wish I could remember her name. She was really nice. She walked up, you know, in her thick accent, said, "You're a good stringer." I was like, "Oh, thanks." And she said she travels all over the world playing tournaments. And said I was the first stringer that they had ever had the exact same reading on every racket. So I was all happy inside. And then she told me that, so it made me feel good. I couldn't charge her, so I didn't charge her the racket. And I used to have a wall with a whole bunch of pictures of me and players. So any picture that, or any player that took a picture with me that I could hang on the wall, I never charged them for rackets either. And anybody that ever stayed at the house with us, I couldn't charge them either. I mean, that's, to me, that's just kind of rude. Telling them, "Hey, you can stay at my house, but I'm going to charge you to string your tennis rackets." So I never charged any of them either. My camera had a long enough cable. I'd show you the scotch. That's the reason I probably don't need to charge anybody for string rackets to keep me from buying more scotch. So hang on. As soon as I finish this one, I'll go over read comments. I know y'all are wanting to go eat dinner. What y'all gonna do? And when I finish, I've got to get all these back to the college because the guys are leaving in the morning. And I have like, I think we got 7 of theirs. I need to get those back before they leave. They're not leaving super early, but they're leaving early enough. If they're leaving super early, somebody usually call me and say we're leaving at 5 a.m. So, or whatever. And I've also said before, but again, I do everything by the reel and not by the set. But I know a lot of people, they like to try to save every little inch of string and use their little clamps to pull tension and all that. I like, when I string, maybe not quite that much, but I like to have, about yay much string at the end. It's so it's easy to work with, to tie the knots. I can get in there, get my hands in there. These aren't little teeny tiny hands. I got big old hands. So that's something I've kind of been thinking about, the torna machine. Well, I haven't just 100% pulled the trigger on it yet. I've been looking at it, and I've mentioned before, I like a machine that I can get my hands in when I'm stringing. Like that gamma, I'd hit the poster, but I used to run mine out and I'd pull my columns out. But I like having enough room in here that when I'm stringing, I can get my hands in here because I do have big hands. And that torna machine, so that I can set the columns back, but 6 and 12 are like these great old big things. So I'm kind of afraid, even though the columns are back, if I'm trying to string in here close, on the end strings, I'm just going to hit the 6 and 12 post. But I don't know that for fact. And it's small, so it may not matter. Okay, let me get her hooked up, and then I'll say, remember the last racket, I had that set for 2 separate tensions. But as soon as you make an adjustment, so I went from 25 to 23 kilo, as soon as you make that adjustment, it resets it. So now it's just 23 kilos. So let me throw this in the bag. And I got it. Their bag is full of freaking Gatorade and soccer balls and all kind of crap. Okay, see what else everybody's saying. Hey, Alan, how's it going? Let's see. Question: how much do you go away? Makes sense. Do you think most people like we talked about that? How much do you charge for labor per racket if you don't mind sharing? I do not mind sharing. For years, I charged $10 a racket, and first of this year, I went up. I charged $15 a racket. I'm not, tooting my own horn, whatever you want to call it, but I am by far the best stringer here in town, and I was charging the lowest rates. I do the most volume. I'm the only one here doing the college and the pros and all that good stuff. And I was charging $10 one because I don't do this for a job. So it's just spare money. But I did go up this year. So I charged $15 per racket for my local customers. All the colleges, the visiting teams, the pro tournament, any NCAA tournaments, anything like that I do, I charge $20 per racket. For the local university, I cut them a deal. I'm only charging them $7 per racket, but I don't mind because I really don't care. I used to only charge them $5 a racket, but I started charging them 2 because in the summer the girls are really bad about this, but they'll only buy a string for so long. Then in the summer they all have apartments here, so they'll go play little ITF tournaments all around the country, and then they'll come back to their apartment, and when they're here, they want racket strung, but they don't have string. So they use my string, and I don't charge them for the string, so they use my string. And then a lot of times they'll hit the road and say, hey, Herb, I don't have any string. Do you have a reel I can borrow? So I'll give them a reel of my string. They go off and hit the road with my reel, and they come back, and there'll only be 1 or 2 rackets left on it. And, there's a whole reel of string. So I went up to $7 to help me compensate for that over the year. So that's what I charge. But, figure out what works for you in your area. Did you say the new Biardos don't have the heavy gravity clamps? I did. The new Biardo. So it's this clamp. I don't need that. It's that clamp. And these little inserts, they come out of both of them. This one, it comes out of these 2. That one's not loose. Anyways, these clamps, they're not as heavy duty as these clamps. This clamp, it feels like it weighs about a pound. This one weighs about half of that. But anyway, these are much more substantial than these are. I have heard there's a guy in, I think, Houston that has had issues with some of these, the new ones, cracking on him right here. But, I don't know how tight he's making his clamps. I don't know anything. But he says he's had a couple of them crack. Bases, the new machine, the base has the little twist lock. So it's just a spring. So no gravity release. Okay, let's see. How often do you clean your clamps since you do so many rackets? I do every 15 to 20 rackets. So that machine doesn't get a lot of use on it, so I clean it like maybe once a month-ish. This one, let's see, when I finish these, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's 18 that I've done today. I've already taken some back to where I got them from. That's 18 I've done today. So when I finish all of these tonight, I'll sit down and I'll clean the clamps. But I usually do. So here's what I do. I know this is going to sound stupid. Here's what I do. I do it every 15 to 20 rackets. If I notice, no matter how many rackets, if I notice the clamps just aren't sliding very well, or like feels like I'm having to over tighten maybe, I'll go ahead and clean it. If I know like this week, okay, let me back up. So like when I know that we have teams coming in for the universities, and certain teams will string more than other teams. Like I said earlier, some teams show up and I know I'm never going to get a racket from them because they're lower budget schools and they're not going to string. But other schools, I've had schools, believe it or not, that travel around. They actually save their rackets up until they come here. If this is one part of the road trip, they'll hit other schools. Some of these schools, they'll go out and they'll play 4, 5, 6 other schools while they're on the road. And they'll string what they have to on the road. But then when they get here, they'll drop off 15, 20, 30 rackets. I think the most anybody's ever dropped off with me was 24. But they give me everything, so I can string them all for them, and they play our team, and sometimes they'll have me string them before they go back home, and sometimes they'll go home and string them. So if I know those teams are coming, even if they have only got like 5 or 6 or 7 rackets on the machine, I'll go ahead and clean it because I'm expecting between my team and them, I expect I'm going to have 20 plus rackets, and I don't want to get halfway into stringing one night and have to break everything down and clean. So I'll go ahead and clean it so that I'm prepared to get a volume of rackets. Let's see, how do you clean your clamps? I heard. And how often do you clean the internals of your Biardo machine? If you are talking about this, never. I have never cracked this open. I do. Okay. So when I clean, I take my clamps off. I take the bases off. Clean the rails. I use canned air, blow them out. actually, scrub these, scrub the bottom, the alcohol clean on oil, all that good stuff. I do all that, run the little shoelace through here, clean all that up, use some canned air, blow everything off. That is cleaning. About maybe twice a year, I will do all of that, but I will also take the rail because there will get a lot of dust and ghost turds. I don't know what you call them, but little fibers, stuff in there. And I will actually take the rails out and clean all in up under that. About same time, couple, 2-3 times a year. Especially if I did a lot of Prince open port rackets, because you'll get a lot of it's just a friction brake, little rubber pads. And I will take some alcohol and I will just take an alcohol and paper towel and I'll just clean the rail, just hold it in here and clean the rail. That way it's a little cleaner surface for the brake pads. But other than that, but as for this over here, no, I've never cracked that open. I don't ever plan on it unless something just completely goes to crap on me. Okay. Do I have any Wilson Biardo maintenance tips? Yes, just take care of it. I mean, it ought to last you a long time. Now, I will say, I didn't know this until this past week because my wife or my kid saw it. But every time I have a tournament, I break both of these things down. That's part of the reason I also want another machine up there so I can start leaving maybe this one here and just take that one and something. But I break them down, I haul them off, and I put them back together and everything. And I got a big dent in this one. That's not a big dent, but I got a dent. I don't know if you can even see it. Anyway, right here, I got a dent where I probably threw it in the back of my car and something landed on it or something. So try to take care of it. But no, just do your routine maintenance, kind of like a car. Just do your routine maintenance and it'll last you forever. I string for all visiting teams that play MTSU. I hope I get some tech rackets Thursday and Friday. I'm going to assume you will. Let's see, they're going to show up. Let's see, I've got... See, they're going tomorrow. They'll practice tomorrow, Thursday. You will probably get some of Franco's. You will probably not get a Reed. You will not get a Sebastian. You will probably not get a Fran because between yesterday and today, I've strung all of his rackets. Ule, you will probably get some because he has 4 rackets and he doesn't necessarily have to string. He strings quite often. So you'll probably get a Ule. Let's see, the ones I have not had, you will probably get, let's see, you'll get a Franco most likely. You'll probably get Ule. Probably get Isaac. 1 or 2 from him. And a lot of it also depends on if they change tension or not. If they change their tension, you'll get something from 4 or 5 of them. You're not going to get a Reed. You're not going to get, I don't know who's going to play 6. It'll be Demi or Take. But you might get a Demi, but I doubt it because I've just done all of his. I don't know, but you'll probably get a couple. If you, I don't know if you have me on Facebook or anything, send me your number. I'll give it to the coach and tell him to call you. Those clamps are why I wanted the machine. The heavy duty clamps or just the drop weight or the gravity release base. Okay, so the Wise. Yeah, I hear all kind of stuff about the Wise. I've never used one. Couldn't really give you my informed opinion on it because I've never used one. Everybody I know that uses them, they like them. The only complaint I ever hear about them is they're loud. And even if you watch people in the videos and stuff that use them, they're loud. Anyway, let's get to Christina. Christina, she is using RPM Hurricane. This is another string. I tried to sell it once a long time ago and nobody wanted to buy it. And in the last, I don't know, maybe 8 years, she is the first player to use it that I know of around here. And I tried to buy some grommet sets for these, and they're all back ordered. I did get a lot of grommet sets for the Yonex E-Zone 100s. I got a bunch of those in. I got a bunch of grommets for. Who else did I get grommets for? I got them for the Babolat Pure Dry VS. I got a bunch of those. Got a bunch for Technofly Fiber T Fly. I can't remember which one. One of them. Girl from Lithuania or something uses them. Let's see. I got something else too. I can't remember what it is. Oh, the Pure Arrow. I got a bunch of them for Pure Arrows. And as soon as I finish these last two rackets, I will stop my video and I will hit the publish. It usually takes, I don't know, about 25 minutes for my video to publish. Don't forget to go in there and leave a comment. Make sure you have subscribed. So all you people that don't subscribe to my channel, please subscribe to my channel so you can be entered in my little giveaway. And if I get 100 entries, which I highly doubt, I don't know. I think my last video's only up to like 150 or 60 views, something like that. But if I get 100 entries, I'll go ahead and do a little drawing and pick somebody and contact you. And if I don't have 100 entries in a month, which this is the 22nd, so yeah, it'll be exactly a month because the Big 12 is the 20th through the 22nd or something like that. Let's see, the 18, 19, 20. The teams travel on the 20th, practice 20 and 22nd, and the guys play 22nd, 23rd, or 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and the girls are 21, 2, and 3. I don't really remember. But anyway, the April 20th through the 22nd, I will go in, and if I do not have 100 entries at that time, just whoever has entered, I will pick somebody and contact you, and I will ship you this box full. And you probably remember, because this is just kind of the kind of guy I am, probably remember in one of my past little live videos, I was talking about the bags. And, you know, my old place I used to buy them from called, I believe it was discountplasticbags.com. And I liked them. Nothing wrong with them. But when I ran out and I had to order new bags, I found these from packingsupplies.com. And there's nothing wrong with the bag. They're still good bags. They're almost identical, other than they vacuum pack them and seal them, and they're hard to get apart, and they're hard to. It just kind of takes a little bit of time. But the 100 bags I'm going to give somebody are some of these. So you're going to get to help me get rid of 100 of these bags so I can buy some of the others. But that said, I've still got, after I give those away, I think I'll still have 600 left. I bought 1,000 first of the year. I still had some of the old ones. So that tells you how many rackets roughly I've done so far. I'm hoping my microphone's still hooked up and working. I assume it is. Nobody said they can't hear me. So I'm really, these are all like little test runs. That way, if I actually do get to do a live video during the pro tournament, and if I do a live, my plan is just like set it up and let it run. I don't think I'll do all day when I'm doing my setup and everything. I have a little awning I get under. But I probably wouldn't show all that. I probably just show when it starts to get busy. And just let the cameras run so you can log in anytime, just see kind of what's going on in the stringing area. People dropping off and picking up and complaining to me or whatever they are. And I'll tell, so here, I don't know if this is unique, but it's something that we do. So during the pro tournament, all the kids have to pay, or all players have to pay an entry fee, and they have to pay in cash at the tournament. And it's I don't know, I'm gonna lie to you, say $40. I don't know, but I think it's $40. So they have to pay cash. You know, most of them know all this stuff, and they all travel with a bunch of cash and all like that. But you'd be amazed at the number of them that show up with no cash. And so what I do is I sit over there. I have a little thing, you know, obviously keep my little credit card reader in, and I keep a bunch of cash in it. And during the tournament, when they're doing the check-in, I'm kind of like a little ATM machine. They all come over to me. They'll Venmo me the $40, and I give them $40 cash so they can pay their entry fee. And then at the end of the tournament, they all get these checks and everything. You know, a lot of these foreign players, they don't even have bank accounts. They can't cash these checks. And so a lot of them, I just have them write the checks over to me, and then I just pay them cash out of my little thing. Then I take the checks and I deposit them in my account. You know, I have in the past, you know, just because it's kind of like fun stuff to do and whatnot. My wife bought this little prize wheel one year where the players could come in, you know, and spin it to win a prize. You know, they'd get like a little gift bag or, you know, whatever. And there have been times in the past I put free stringing on there, and they could spin it, and if they won it, you know, obviously I'd string them for free. And I kind of quit doing that last year because what I realized was, well, I'm a nice guy, and I'm just kind of giving that out there and whatnot. But my wife, she's pretty nice too. So she'd get over there, and if it was one of the kids that was like, oh man, I really want that stringing, she'd let them spin the wheel, and if they didn't win it, she'd let them spin it again. And if they didn't win it, she'd let them spin it again and stop it on free stringing. So I kind of quit doing it. So I was like, man, I sure am giving away a lot of free stringing. And I've given a bunch of like little gift certificate thing, you know, free stringing and string, well, you know, whatever they wanted except natural gut. But for like little charity events and stuff like that. That's also a way for you to kind of get your name out there and get into circles that people that don't know that you string and whatnot. Go to contact somebody, or, you know, most of these people, they just know who I am, but kind of get in touch with these people, say, hey, you know, I'll give you 5 in string for your silent auction or something like that. And then you pick up new customers that never knew about you, and then you do a good job, then they tell their friends, and next thing you know, you're doing some of their friends. You pick up a little business here and there. And all it cost you was 15, 20 minutes of your time when you didn't have anything else to do anyway. I will be calling my mom back later. But she obviously does not know I'm in here doing a video. And I don't know if y'all have all actually stuck around for this whole thing, but I can't imagine how boring it is to watch me stand over here and blabber for, I don't know, it's been 2 hours and 2 minutes and string rackets. So I know I'm not the most exciting guy in the world. When I finish this, or these, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go eat dinner and go to bed. I might watch TV for a few minutes, I don't know. I was trying to watch Miami Open earlier today, and I was watching Anna Samova and Shelby Rogers, and I fell asleep. So I'm not sure if I can go to sleep early or not. I've never been a napper. I really don't know how long it's taken me to do a racket either. Oh, hang on. Hello? Okay, let me let you go. That's my wife telling me to, I guess she's watching my live. She said not to put myself down. My wife likes to build me up. Oh, it gets hot in here. That's why I got my little fan going. So when I finish this racket, I'll come read comments. If there are any new comments, if there are not any new comments, then obviously I will not read them. Per my wife, last time, I cannot believe I have said any bad words. Because I was, when I was younger, I was in the Marine Corps, and I learned how to say a whole lot of really bad words. But I try not to say them very often. But sometimes they pop out. And I will also say, when I talk about as a stringing community, I think we all should try to support each other. Like if you know somebody that's got a channel, you go online. Now, if I agree with what they're doing or not, most of them I subscribe to their channel. You know, just give them support. I like their videos, just give them support. If they ask for comments, I'll make comments. Even if they don't ask for comments, sometimes I'll get comments. Just trying to support them. Do I have any other comments about the machines or anything like that? So I will tell you guys this. I just find this kind of funny. So I've got those videos out there with the gamma progression, and it is my most popular video, and I assume that's because it is a very affordable machine. So that's what a lot of people are looking for, especially a lot of home stringers, because it's not going to break the bank, so to say. But I really get a lot, and I do mean a lot, of comments from that, and people that'll look me up on like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever. I don't do Twitter, but I've got a Twitter account, but I don't ever check it. I don't even know how to log into it, to be honest with you. But anyway, I get a lot of people that contact me like I am the official gamma, I don't know, point of contact for service or troubleshooting or all like that, and I'm not. I answer as best as I can. But as far as y'all are having an issue, I think I've diagnosed the vast majority of them. And I'll tell you the most common issue I've run into so far, and I don't know why, it just cracks me up. The most common issue, people contact me all the time with those gamma machines. After they first get them, they set them up and watch my little videos, and they go in there and they pull tension and they break the string. And then they do it again and it breaks the string, and they keep breaking the dang strings. And they'll contact me. Why am I breaking all my strings when I do a pull? Because those machines come with a shipping screw that holds the weight. And they don't remove it, even though it's right there on the tension head. And it's got a big piece of flag on it that says remove screw before stringing. And they forget to do that. They just take the little flag off, throw it away, but they don't take the screw out. And that's my number one most diagnosed issue. They'll call me and they message me Why is this happening? And I tell them take that screw out. They'll take the screw out. Okay, thank you. I don't know why. That just cracks me up. She needs a new label because that one's faded. So I might do that when I finish. So on my labels for my pro tournament, all I do is I have their name, main strings, crosses, what the tensions are. I think it has date and stuff like that. None of that stuff really matters. But so what? When somebody checks in, and again, if I get to do this during the tournament, you'll get to see it. But when they check in, I will fill out my little database with their information. And obviously, if they check in once and they don't want to make any changes, they'll just drop off. And I'll ask them, do you want it the same? They'll say, yeah, most of the time. And all I got to do is print the label. But I have added like a little counter thing so I can start counting the number of rackets. That's something I added last year. But then I'll print the label for the sticker. Yeah, it's a label. I'll print the label and I will rubber band it to the handle. And I will stick it in my little rack. If I don't have anything going on, then I'll go ahead and string it. But if I have others I'm doing instead of it, I will put my rack, and then when I get to them, I already have the label with all the information. 2-knot, 4-knot, whatever they were stressed. It's all on the little label. And I can string it, stick it in a bag, and I stick that label. And if they give me a reel of string, I'll stick that reel of string back in the bag with it. Or if they have like a hybrid and I have half sets left or anything like that, I'll stick them back in the labels on there. And the way I do it, I have several of those little racks. I'll put like Wilson and Babolat rackets in a rack, and Yonex and Head in a rack, and then I'll have like a rack for all the other oddball stuff. That way, because I don't remember everybody's face and what they have. And they'll come to me and they'll say it's a Wilson. And most of the time, they'll tell me which one it is sitting there in the rack so they can sit there and look at it. That's how I do it. Oh, I was supposed to come read comments. Let me get the number 6 here and I'll come over there and read comments. But I would also suggest you guys get out there and watch all the videos. AM Stringing, he has some fantastic videos out there. Go watch Racket Stringing Tips with Pat. He's got some good information. And Brad, he has Brad on there all the time. Brad has a lot of info and a lot of good stories. Obviously, you need to watch Purnell's videos. The String Doctor over in England, he has some good videos. Oh, okay. So that leads me to my segue. So years ago, when I first got this machine, I was string on it. I kept noticing all my arms were getting all scratched up. And I didn't want my arms all scratched up and looking like poop. And wrapped around the arms of my machine. And the string doctor guy, he bought the L model, and he had seen that on my videos. So he kind of one-upped me there. And he went and bought some vinyl, this carbon fiber pattern vinyl, and he put that on his arms. And I thought that was pretty awesome. But then that got real popular, and he started putting that out there. So there's all kind of people putting the vinyl on their arms, different colors and different patterns and yada yada and blah blah. And I don't know, I got talking and forgot where I was at. I forgot I had the time or not. But anyway, so he did all that. So I went and bought some vinyl, and I did it on mine. I took the overgrips off. The overgrips are pretty nasty anyway. They're all dirty and grungy, and they're tore up on the bottoms. So I took those off, and I went with the vinyl. So far, I like it. Did it on this one, did it on that one. If I get a new machine, I might do it on that one as well. But all that started because I used to do overgrips around my arms. I also noticed me and my kid were looking the other day. We were looking up machines when I was debating on buying a new one. And we ran across from the UKRSA. They had a thing on the Biardo L, and down at the bottom of it, they talked about my review video and linked my review video to it. I thought that's pretty neat. Oh, I said I was going to come read comments. I forgot. See, I get all focused and I get all serious about this stuff, and I forget what I'm doing. Let me get this pulled across here. And I'm almost there. Almost there. Yeah. Snip the tip. The tip is all squared off. That must have been the beginning of the reel. Okay, let's see if there's any new comments. Okay, let's see. Hear anything about the wise? We talked about that. I am not on Facebook. Coach Jimmy at MTSU gives the coaches my info. Okay, well, there you go. So you'll probably get some of them. Bank of Herb. Yes, that's what I feel like. Yeah, what you could be watching news, but watching less depressing Herb. That's kind of funny. Thank you for your service. Oh, you're welcome, Ellen. Do you comment on the wise? Yes. I really have zero experience with the wise, so I can't make any comments. I know the people that use them, everybody loves them. The only negative I've ever heard anybody talk about them are they are loud. But they say the newer models are not as loud as the older models, but they're still loud. Okay, so funny story. We talked about the shipping screw and the ELS. So the one that I sold to California, I put the shipping screw back into it. And I even put the little flag on it. And he got it and he did that same thing. He just took the flag off and then removed the shipping screw, even though I gave him a whole note on how to set it up and remove that screw. Occasionally your mic breaks up slightly, otherwise very solid. Why, thank you. What scratches the arm? So if I were to guess, because I don't really ever really focus and pay attention on it, I'd say partly my ring, and all when I'm coming in here, the starting clamp hitting on it right here. That probably scratches it. Probably when I'm bringing pliers, trying to pull through this way or go that way, occasionally it'll hit it. Probably my watch every once in a while. I don't think the string is hard enough to scratch it up. It's just, random stuff, I guess, over time. Just kind of makes little micro scratches. They add up. Same thing like on my rails, I've got some scratches in my rails. So something like dust or whatever will get down there and I'll slide the clamp across it and it'll scratch it up a little bit. We're going to finish less than 3 hours. So typically I would do about 10 or 11 rackets in about 3 hours. I've done 7, 8. So obviously I'm going a little slow. But I'm also doing a lot of talking and a lot of walking back and forth over there, showing you all the stringing room. Oh, I can do that. When I finish, I'll actually show you the actual room. You've seen all my string. Not really much left to see. Well, I guess you've kind of seen it. All it is machine sitting in that corner. And I also have these anti-fatigue mats. They're actually, like, I guess they're just mats or whatever that I get from Costco. And the one I'm standing on is my original mat. I've actually cut little holes in it that the feet of the Biardo can kind of slide onto, hold it down. But as you notice, I move around a lot, and the mat would usually slip around on the floor. And I'm spending half my time kicking it back in position so I can stand on the mat. So anyway, I kind of finagled it into being where the machine holds it down. But I buy them from Costco. They work well. They're nice and long. That's why I like them. But the one over there, even though it's not a new one, it doesn't get used like this one. And you stand on them, when you get them brand new, they're kind of firm. I mean, they're good little anti-fatigue mat, but they're kind of firm. And one I have over here, I've used it so much and been on it so much, and it's like real squishy. So between that and my Crocs and my compression socks, I can actually stand here for several hours and string rackets. I will say though, my knees, even though I had on my little surgery, my knees do still get kind of stiff. I'm not going to say they hurt, but they're stiff. So when I finish and I go sit down here in a little bit, they'll be sore to bend them to sit down. And after I sit there for 5 or 10 minutes, that all kind of goes away. And my left is worse than my right. My right, I had a knee replacement. And I do not recommend you guys do this, but if you ever have a knee replacement, I was back stringing rackets in 7 days. I would say take more time off than 7 days before you come in here and try to string your rackets after a full knee replacement. Give yourself at least like 2 weeks. I did it. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't that easy either. And my other one, so I was all confident, I was all cocky, thinking, hey, I had a knee replacement. I was able to string rackets again in 7 days. Ha ha ha. So when I had my meniscus repaired in my left knee, I was all cocky, thinking, if I could do a knee replacement in 7 days, a meniscus repair, that's nothing. I can string the next day. I could not. And I went to the university and picked up a bunch of rackets and brought them home, and I thought I was just going to stand over here and jump on them, and I did not do that. Oh, and I'll tell y'all, when it comes to the plastic bags. So when I first got the plastic bags, I couldn't decide exactly what I wanted to do. So I started out as using like a painter's tape, blue tape, duct tape, whatever, not duct tape, masking tape, whatever you want to call it. I was using that, so I'd twist them up, and actually I didn't even twist them. Back when I first started doing it, I just fold them up and put tape around them. I didn't like that. It didn't look very good. I didn't like using the tape, so that's when I went to the rubber bands. Rubber bands work a lot better. Then I think it was my wife that actually started twisting the bags around the handle. That looks a lot better. Now the players, I don't know if they like it or not, because I've never asked them, and I don't guess they've ever really cared. I think it looks better, so that's what I'm going to do. I've never had anybody say they not to do it. I had people ask me not to put them in a bag. But for the most part, and I've had several of the college players tell me this, and several of them that are playing on the pro tour tell me this, that they prefer rackets in the bag. Because, I know it's probably psychological, but they feel that it keeps the string bed feeling fresher longer, no matter what type of string. As we all know, that's probably true for natural deck. But when it comes to these polys and multis, It's probably just psychological. But the ones that like playing with fresh beds of string, they really like them in the bag because they feel like it just they so they just leave them in the bags until they absolutely need them. Where some of them, as soon as they get the rackets, they just take them out of the bag and throw them away and throw their bags in, throw the rackets in their own bag. Oops, already pulled that one. We're over here. So look at that. On the last one, I'm talking. I'm not focused anymore. So all I can think about is going to eat dinner. Okay, last night of the night. Woohoo! Okay, once I finish this one, I'll come read comments. We'll do a little recap. And I will sign off, and everybody will have a fantastic rest of their evening. Woo! So yes, I'll clean the machine in the morning. Okay, last comment here. Let's see. So occasionally you might break that. Okay, no more comments. I don't know how many of y'all are still on there. 6 people. Hey, there you go. So the recap, giving away a box full of stuff. If you've watched already, you already know what's in there. So when I sign off, I'll start doing the publish, go into the comments, say I want your stuff, give me your stuff, whatever, something. Let me know that you want it. Make sure you have subscribed to my channel. Make sure you have liked the video. And in either 100 entries or 1 month, I will pick somebody, contact you, get your address, and I'll throw it in the mail and let you have it. So other than that, we talked about a lot of stuff. It took me a long time to string a few rackets, but didn't have anything else to do. So I am going to sign off, and everybody, y'all have a wonderful evening.